Welcome to the very Reverend William McMillan Library here in Dunmurry, non-subscribing Presbyterian Church. And we're continuing our journey through the collections here in the library. And it's a very diverse collection. There's also a section which we call Special Collections, which includes some of the more interesting and rarer historical books. And there's a couple of other sections. There's a section of Bibles, and there's a section of outsized books, and there's also a section of liturgical books, including hymn books and books of readings and so on. Now, this is a very useful section in the library for anyone who has to lead worship. There's a great collection of books that can be used with prayers and liturgies and so on. And there's also a good collection of hymn books in the library, including some very old non-subscribing Presbyterian hymn books, which were in fact the first Presbyterian hymn books in Ireland. But this section of the library has a good selection of liturgies, of prayer books, of books containing readings. And because we're now entering the Christmas season, I thought it would be appropriate to find some readings that relate to the Christmas story. And so I picked out this book, The Times, Prayers and Readings for All Occasions, compiled by Owen Collins, which is a very modern book, just a very modern paperback book containing a great variety of material that's useful for reflection, as it says, for all occasions. And there's a short section in the book on Christmas. And I'd like to read two interesting poems about Christmas from this book. One is by Robert Louis Stevenson, and this is often described as a poem, although it's presented in the book as just a short paragraph. But I'll read Robert Louis Stevenson's remarks on Christmas. I think it's called A Christmas Prayer, though it doesn't say that here. O God, our loving Father, help us rightly to remember the birth of Jesus, that we may share in the songs of the angels, the gladness of the shepherds, and the worship of the wise men. May the Christmas morning make us happy to be thy children, and the Christmas evening bring us to our beds with grateful thoughts, forgiving and forgiven for Jesus' sake. When it mentions the songs of the angels, the gladness of the shepherds, and the worship of the wise men, it reminds me of the tableau that we have made by the youth group in the church that sits above the pulpit that depicts the angels, the shepherds, and the wise men. That's a short prayer by one writer, famous really for other things, Scottish writer. The other poem I'd like to read is by George Herbert, a more famous poem. And George Herbert, of course, was a 17th century Anglican poet and writer, really of very, very deep and profound spiritual insight. And this poem, an ideal one for Christmas, is entitled, Shall I Be Silent? The shepherds sing, and shall I be silent? My God, know him for thee. My soul's a shepherd too, a flock it feeds of thoughts and words and deeds. The pasture is thy word, the streams thy grace enriching all the place. Shepherd and flock shall sing, and all my powers outsing the daylight hours. Then we will chide the sun for letting night take up his place and right. We sing one common Lord, wherefore he should himself the candle hold. I will go searching till I find a sun, shall stay till we have done. A willing shiner that shall shine as gladly as frost-nipped suns look sadly. Then we will sing and shine all our own day and one another pray. His beams shall cheer my breast, and both so twine, till even his beams sing, and my music shine. Well, as time goes on, we'll have a more detailed look at these books of liturgy and services and prayers, because there are some very interesting books there, including, as I've suggested, some interesting hymn books. But we'll keep the focus, the next few of these videos, on Christmas as we work our way through Advent to Christmas Day.